Hello, hello. Hi, Dawn.
Yeah, it's me.
Dawn, I don't mean to alarm you. I think I left the door unlocked last night. I'm kind of scared. I think
What?
somebody got in.
What?
I'm sorry. I didn't
Hello.
mean to. Oh, God.
Oh God!
Oh,
What's going
oh
on?
man, that was the best sleep I've had in a long ass time. You
Oh,
guys
my
doing good?
You were in
gosh.
my house.
Who
Goodness.
are you?
I'm Casual Red.
Oh, my.
This is my
Oh,
affiliate, lobotomy wife.
Oh, my gosh.
oh,
I can't believe you walked right in. Wait a minute. I think I know you. We're-
Yeah, you know what? I think oddly familiar. It's almost like we've known each other for a good 5 or so years, more
Something
or
like
less.
that? That sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
pretty,
Well,
pretty, pretty wacky stuff. How time flies.
welcome to our
wow.
room. We haven't really like nailed down the specifics of the lore yet, but it's kind of like an Andy's room situation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're all
totally
like
get it.
toy box pals.
Yeah, we
I
came
don't know
from the
which
toy
toy
box.
you are. Oh, you know what? You could be one of those wrestling toys.
Oh,
I'd definitely be a wrestling toy. No, yeah,
Okay.
if I was like a toy box. Like they fucking put me. Oh my god! And Casual Rad as the newest Toy Story 6 featuring Casual Rad.
Yes.
I'd definitely be like some sort of luchador or something like that.
that's
Oh, that'd
awesome.
be fun. Yeah.
Like
Well,
maybe like the ones where you squeeze the legs and they go, they spin
oh
a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah, they do a
Yeah.
little action move, some karate chop
Yeah,
action.
those were very stimulating as a child. Whenever I was stressed, I just fucking squeeze. I had like a Ben 10 Big Chill one where his like
Oh,
body would like flap
Ooh.
its wings, and I would just squeeze the fuck out of that.
that's
Whenever I
awesome.
was like bored as hell, and it would flap until all the pieces would fall off because that shit was made very shoddily, but oh, I loved it. Anyways, that's
That's your toy.
piece. Yep, that's my toy. Big Chill, I
Okay.
guess, from Ben 10. Yep.
April, do you have a toy, Sona?
Yeah, give us a toy.
Give us a toy.
Yes, I would be a plastic dinosaur toy,
Oh,
specifically
hell
the
yeah.
Ankylosaurus, because that's my favorite.
Oh,
Oh,
hell
Oh,
yeah.
fun.
I
yeah,
carry one
yeah.
around in my purse, like a small one.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
know that. That's fire.
That's awesome. Well,
My
while
goodness.
y'all are here, I think I have a list of questions in my pocket.
How convenient.
Keep a list of questions.
I just thought, I'm always keeping questions around. You never know. Journalistic
I
stuff.
have noticed that. I
I'm
have
always,
noticed that.
you know me.
To have questions like on the fly, you know. It's
Yeah.
like, wait, while you're here,
Yeah,
you may not have money, but you can pay me in answering some questions.
exactly. Well, since I have both of you here, my first question for both of you on this fine day is, who are you and what do you do?
That's a great question. A very good starting question, especially if I was given a service and have no money to pay for it.
Exactly.
I would pay in questions. Well, my name is Casual Red. My name is Cash Rodriguez Miranda. People know me as Casual Red, rather. I almost biffed my own intro. I am a visual artist, voice actor, sound designer, and rapper. And have been doing this for almost 10 years, of most
Wow.
of it. So, pretty crazy stuff, really. Um, and next to me, of course, is my dear affiliate who I'll allow introduce herself.
Yes, my name is April. I go by Lobotomy Wife. I am a producer, beat maker, and audio engineer, and the occasional DJ as of recent. That's been a lot
Okay,
of
I
fun.
love that.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. But yeah, I've been making beats since like around 2017, and I went to college for audio engineering, and that's kind of what I do as my day job. So
Mhm.
kind of get to incorporate that into my work too. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
Okay, that's great. I love hearing like how much different kinds of art you two do, and just kind of
Oh yeah.
how it probably just meshes together so well when working on different projects, being able to use like certain skills from one set to enhance another. DJing, wow, how did you get started DJing? That's cool.
Yeah, it it was my friends were helping run this like sort of pop-up like charity show event. Like it had well Cass was in it too. They were selling prints. It was like mostly like an art pop-up thing that also had music. I can't remember exactly
Yeah.
how it was
It was like an
pitched.
art pop up that became, I think, later in the day, music focused, but had
Okay.
music in it while it happened, like intermediately. Like it
Yeah.
started with music, and then after that, it'd be like DJ sets, and I was tabling for the first 5 hours, and then I rapped for the last hour with April. Actually,
Yes, those are like technically first live show.
Yeah, I guess it
Wow.
was. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
spot to have a first, I'd say.
Oh yeah, that was like the best day of my life. That it was
Aw.
such a delightful day. But yeah, it was this event and it was like a sort of fundraiser event for a like very, very important local group, the Metro Trans Umbrella. They're a fantastic organization and it was just a
Shout
fundraiser
out.
for that. And one of my friends who was helping run it, there had an extra open slot and they're like, Ape, you want to DJ? And I'm like, well, I have been yearning for the deck, so I've never DJed before, but I'll give it a go. Fuck it. And I borrowed my homie's deck, and that was my first time doing it. And I just played like what I would affectionately call SoundCloud detritus. It was like kind of like off the wall stuff, but people seemed to
Okay.
really like it. It was really fun, like way more electronic, out there genre compared to like the album me and Cass made, like completely different sonically, but it was really fun.
Okay. Well, in that same vein, how did you two decide to start working together, or was it kind of just you've always kind of been around friends, kind of the way that artist friends are, just always kind of dipping their hands into each other's pies?
You know,
Yeah, it was through college.
yeah, it was through college. I'd
College
say
always
like
gets you.
I was a bit of a shut-in. I'm a very social person always, but I was a bit of a shut-in around lockdown and after. And I had watched Mind Game, and it changed my life. Shout out Masaki Iwasa.
Wow.
So I was like, I gotta really like do something and like take advantage of this while I've got it. So I went to the gays people I knew and I asked them if we could hang out. That's how I made a lot of the friends that me and April shared together. But along that same vein, a couple months later, near the end of the semester, April's doing this project. Many people were doing this project. It's like a final audio project, where you gotta make something pretty fucking good, or else these teachers are gonna really wag their finger at you. In like the studio and like a studio setting, etc., etc. And out of the like four people that had me do their project, because I'm a performer, I like to be behind the mic. April was the one where we like meshed immediately. It was like almost like instant. We started talking about like what we like, who
We were chopping
inspires
it up
us.
for like
Hmm.
fucking like 2 hours probably
Like
before we
most of
even
that
got in
stuff.
the damn booth.
Aw.
Honestly, yeah. Like we would do. I think there was like something that you were fixing, but we just kept talking, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, it was very casual, eh? But
Oh,
yeah.
ring the
Rad,
bell, ring the bell.
Yeah, that shit was rad. Hold on. Hang on.
Wait,
I gotta hop on.
Bars? Bars?
Wait, wait,
Bars. Bars.
Cool me down, cool me down, cool me down.
Well, that's lovely.
I do have a question. I raised my hand. I have a question.
Okay,
Hi.
Don, you go?
Yeah, I'm Don from Don and Lou. I want to know, what would you say some of your inspirations musically for like your music? Like
That's a good one.
Where do you get them from?
Me and Abe. Actually, you know what? Abe, I'll let you start with this one. I feel like that's a good spot.
Well, I think the easiest comparison that I think people will make listening to our stuff is also kind of our biggest inspirations with like it's kind of gay mad villainy what we got going on here with Madlib, MF Doom sort of stuff.
Mhm.
For me, like that style of production like really introduced me to not hip hop as a whole, but kind of like really put me on to that sort of like jazz and soul sample flipping style that like I really attached to and imprinted on. That's kind of how I started beat making. So those two for sure. A lot of stuff that was from the 90s East Coast scene, like all the beats and also raps off of like Illmatic and stuff like that. It's just incredible. Like
The
DJ
first time you hear "Whose World Is This?"
Yes,
who?
dude.
Oh my
It's
god.
it's fantastic, but like in a more contemporary way, a lot of the stuff it still happens to be from East Coast, like Mike, that sort of abstract hip hop scene, standing on the corners, Six Press, like kind of the sound that Earl Sweatshirt would later adopt around like some rap songs era.
Okay.
I really really rock with that, but I draw a lot of inspirations from across all different genres, but in terms of artists and albums that directly have affected my sound, it's definitely that sort of East Coast throughout the 90s up until now. So I feel
Okay.
spiritually New York in that way.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Fuck yes. Yeah, I mean everything Abe said was basically on par. Me personally, for like Because that's all like we share that, and a lot of that is also it. But in terms of like me specifically, I my biggest I mean Earl Sweatshirt, as mentioned, fucking love Earl and Mike, obviously. Just what I look for in like in lyrics and like writing is I think like an expression of mastery of the craft. You know, like obviously it's cool if they're like flipping it and like saying crazy shit that doesn't make sense. That's cool and all. But
Sure, yeah.
rap's got so many facets, and what I love about a good bar is either like not even expressing it to its fullest either. You know, like almost like Drunken Master style. Like you can kind of like duck a couple and like take a couple of like what might be like, you know, bars of weaker standing on like their lonesome, but if it builds up to something really heavy swinging on the fourth, that's kind of all that matters. You know, you've got yourself something just so catchy and
Yeah.
sticks to the brain. So rappers like Ka, who, you know, was, I mean, Descendants of Cain, everyone listens to Herman the Recluse, you know, that's a very popular one. I like that one too, but Descendants of Cain was like the album for me. I think I just cannot be without that album. If I need to be buried with an album, it's probably Descendants of Cain. Just the sort of there's something really enigmatic about a bar that's so tough but so human. You know, like
Yeah.
just certain you can really say something that is cold, but it's still like expressing that I don't know, just the humanity of it all,
Just
the
something raw
stress,
and
the
real.
joy, the
Yeah.
love. Yeah, exactly. The realness. It's really admirable. Kai's like my big one. And then obviously Doom is like a big, you know, your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. I you know, I can't act like I'm above that. I love Doom. He was like the first one I really kind of nosedive onto. And yeah, I feel like those are really the big two. I listen to a lot of stuff outside of rap though that really just I love jazz as a whole. Just already, jazz is like huge for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I love like I guess you know if you look it up, it'll be like world music. But me, I just love like African rhythm. It's like fantastic,
yeah.
or like anything with a rhythm focus. I'm just really like fascinated. I love movement in that way, or piano. Just a fantastic instrument. I can never get enough. Bill Evans is like one of my favorites because I just love listening to like his graceful piano. It makes me feel like I'm walking in like a glass mansion every time.
Oh, that's
A
beautiful.
wow. Yeah.
That's true. That's very accurate, though.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I'm just like, wow. I feel so lightweight.
Well,
Yeah.
well, and all these different inspirations and things that have really spoken to both of you, what kind of was the starting point of this album? And remind everyone here, name of the album and where they could go find it.
Yes, the Soul Turnaround. That's THE space SOLE space TURNAROUND. End of like title. Anywhere on major streaming services. I think literally like 2 days ago, iHeartRadio just told us like, "Hey, your album's on iHeartRadio." So thank you.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
iHeartRadio.
Holy shit.
Anything that's got anything we can find us in. However, if you need to go anywhere, our official like uploaded from us for you sources are SoundCloud, YouTube, and Bandcamp. Those are like I always tell people to go to those three because we touched that and we made that, we put that there. Everything else is like through a distributor, which is great and cool and wonderful because you know streaming is important. But me and Ape believe that music and work should be accessible to the people, and those are the most accessible. I don't ever get ads from this shit unless it's certain songs that you know have certain things in them. But you know, I can't control that. But besides that, we want you know the music to be for you. So YouTube, SoundCloud, Bandcamp. It's all either on Casual Rad. If it's not on Casual Rad, it's on Lobotomy Wife. Like for SoundCloud specifically. Because April just has a much better like understanding of how SoundCloud works than I do, and it is her album as much as it is my album, so it should be balanced like that.
Yeah. Alright.
But yeah, the Soul Turnaround. When did we start? I mean, obviously, the real true inception was that night that we did that session in college.
Yeah,
That's kind of
I
where.
mean, like That's where the song Nile came from. That was like our first
Exactly.
song we
Yeah.
worked together. That was like technically a song I did for my
I
school
got
final project, my
yeah.
capstone for audio engineering, and that ended up making the cut of the album.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was that same day where you kind of like pitched the idea of like, I think we got a really cool thing going here. And obviously we got like, we're already friends beforehand, but like it's important of like not only just being friends, but
Hmm.
also having like a good working musical chemistry. I think that's a bit hard to come by outside of just like
Oh yeah.
friendship. So like once that was already kind of kindling in that first session, it would seem like a pretty logical conclusion. Like, oh, we gotta work on something more. This can't just be like flash in the pan on this one song.
Exactly. So me and it kind of kicked it up and gathered like some of our best works, um, and like kind of put them all in a big pile. And we're like, okay, what can we do with what? And a lot of what I brought were like chopped beats or like lyrics for songs that don't have any backing in them. And a lot of what Ape brought was just a beautiful library of beats. All like our seemingly like our best that we had to offer to each other, which is really a beautiful thing because I think a lot of artists, and a lot of rappers, because rap is such a vulnerable art, you know, like art
Mm.
on the internet, you can kind of like illustration wise just post whatever you want and you can stay faceless, and that's cool, and people like that. That's like an acceptable way to do this. In rap, I mean, there's a guy whose whole deal is that, you know, like that's a unique
Yeah.
thing. It's a very vulnerable craft, so showing the relationship between beatmaker and rapper is like beautiful. It really is like on some fucking like swordsman shit, high key. Like it really is about like honor and vulnerability and trust in one
Yeah.
another. And this is like the moment where we're like, okay, this is what we've got. And knowing that we'll both be like, dude, that's fucking fire, or like this is fire, but you know, not maybe not for this big one, that we're doing right now. And it was, yeah, I've always wanted to make an album since I was like 18, but I never really got to it. So a lot of the ideas in this developed from like ancient protozoa of like an idea that was spawned in my like late teen-year-old brain.
Yeah.
Um,
Like some of these joints are so fucking old for on both of our ends, so it's like kind of a miracle that they were able to kind of manifest in this like full project. Like in some instances, like what damn near 10 years later. Like I think the oldest one I have on here is from like 2017.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
yeah, we really like pulled out our best and brightest, and we knew it was for a good cause. You know, we knew it was either now or never. It's like having a sticker, and you're like, oh, I can't put it anywhere because you know then the sticker is like used, but you just gotta put the sticker somewhere, man, because otherwise it's gonna sit in your desk and be useless, like a piece of
I'm
paper.
always saying this. I'm always saying that. I am a sticker guy. I get it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I figured you'd understand.
Well, it's really
Yeah.
cool just hearing that this was such a collaborative effort. I feel like that's not talked about a lot in the music industry a lot. You know, you get it's the
Oh,
singer,
yeah.
you know, the person who's performing,
Oh my
you know,
god. The
who's
thing I
the
wanted
one.
to avoid the most was like having people be like, "Oh, Casual Ed, your album." I'm like, "It's not my album. It's an Ape Dog Records collaboration joint label from me and Lobotomy Wife." You know, it. I could not have done this without April. And I don't even mean like, oh, you can't have raps without beats, but also like in terms of like my performance, April's also just an incredible like guiding visionary in the booth. It's like actually I'm actually quite speechless sometimes when I've like doubted myself and I've been like unable to do what I want to do. April has grounded me more than enough times, and I can be like so prissy when I can't do what I want to do. I can be a big, not that big of a diva, but I can like really show a little bit of attitude. But April, I could never be. It helps that I could never actually show April any drama. That's just not my style. I feel like if I did that, I'd like keel over and vomit. It's just not. It's just not right. It's just not right. And you know, fair play is on my knuckles. You know, so if it's not fair, it's just not right. I'd be sick. But we it's our album. You know, there's two of us on there. I wouldn't call Mad Villainy Doom's album
Yeah.
because it's also Mad Lib's album. He's in the title. And in that same way, or even anything that's got like I wouldn't just call the new Mike and Earl project just a Mike and Earl project. It's Mike, Earl, and Surf Gang because they produced the whole fucking thing, and their style is all over it, just like how April's style is all over this. So it's good that you pointed that out because it's always been a big pet peeve of mine, and I feel like people need to be more decisive with their crediting of their beat makers because otherwise they would just be a lot of beat makers can really make it. You know, the song. Like if you just have a beat maker who's not like you're still just pitching them anything, and that beat maker's like, I'll put it on whatever.
Like,
you're
what?
just
Like
gonna
just slap
get
it together.
Like even if
Like,
you
don't
are
even worry about it.
talented, you know, like it won't like inversely if you there's some rappers carried so bad by a very talented beat maker who's just stuck with the motherfucker that you end up with without him you're just okay. And it's not bad to be okay. But there are places what makes April and I's collaboration so important is that we're both great, you know?
Mhm.
And together that greatness really melds into something even greater. So naturally she deserves just as much credit. Like it really pisses me off when it's just the rapper, you know.
Right.
Like a movie is not just the main actor, you know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
It's everybody.
You know, it's just kind of
Yeah.
like how like Don and Lou, the channel is not just about Don. It's also I'm here too. And we're all this together.
Yeah, people usually come up to me and say I'm the star of the show.
Yes.
But you know what?
Everyone
My
loves-
bestie Lou, she's there too.
I'm also
Remember
in there.
that.
Well, I remember when you did that that listen party when the album first dropped, and you had talked kind of about how the order of the track list. What was that like? Was that like a constant like, no, we should do this, we should do that. Wait a minute, sleep on it. No, I changed my mind. Let's move this around.
I'd say it was like me and April work so well together. We don't dwell on too much unless we were both like we're not gonna work on this right now. Like the album didn't have a title until like maybe like 3/4 of the way into production, and it had a pseudo title. I can't remember what the hell it was.
Codename
I knew it was
Salute.
Salute,
That's what
yeah.
the root folder name for all of this has been. Like,
Yeah,
on my hard drive
Salute.
is Salute.
Which is our single and like probably our most one of our most fan favorite songs. There's a couple. Me and April have been talking for like years about how funny it'd be when people are like, no, but this song's a sleeper hit. You know, you gotta prep this song. No, but this song's so catchy. I mean, it's got blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Either way, the longest thing I think one of the longer things that it took for us to really nail actively, like we sat in a room and talked about it for this period of time, was the list. I'd say because
Yeah.
we put I would hate to listen to an album and the end result is that I'm like, that was good, but those songs sound shuffled as hell. You know, I can tell
Right,
when I
yeah.
listen to an album and it's a little shuffled. You know,
Yes.
it's like a sixth
That's
sense
an interesting way to put it. I've never thought about it that way.
because it just
That's
feels
just
wrong.
like yeah.
I'm just like, why would this be next to this? That makes no sense.
Right.
Sequencing is such an underrated aspect of
Mhm.
albums that I think is like, not to be like kids these days, but it feels like a lot of the time, especially in the streaming era, it feels kind of like what Cass said is just something on shuffle or more of like a
Mhm.
collection of singles rather than something that is something more cohesive. And album sequencing is, whether you consciously think about it or not, is like the glue that holds everything together. It kind of brings something from good to great or great to masterpiece in some instances of I can think about my favorite albums. Like if it was on shuffle, I'd lose my fucking mind. Like it needs to be in this particular way. And kind of how we were going about it is like it was at least initially just like one session in the studio, just kind of us going through it, and just it had a very natural flow to it. It wasn't like, oh, immediately, oh, this belongs here, this belongs here, except for World Not Mine. That was like the design,
Oh, yeah.
like decided ender. But
It-
it kind of
well,
naturally
yeah,
fell into
that-
place,
Mhm.
especially with Cass, I'm sure you can speak to this as well, is kind of not only like sonically it being like different enough so it doesn't feel like too samey or feel like one side is a distinct side A, one is a distinct side B, but also in lyrical content and mood. Like you don't want to have too many sort of like downers into an upper or just like only hype all the way through. You want to have like a good like steady stream of like kind of ups and downs of mood, while not feeling like too manic, I guess, in its track listing.
Right.
And I think that's something that like Cass sequenced really well, at least with just like focusing on the mood aspect.
Thank you, buddy. It really is like the way that an album should be is like you're being cradled by the music. You know, you're being swayed very gently. Now that swaying gently, you know, quote unquote, being very dependent on the album. You know what I mean? Gently for Death Grips is like you're being shaken, like straight up.
God.
You know, but like gently for like other maybe like, you know, some rap songs like we talked about or anything like that. It's a bit like, you know, it can move you in a certain way, and like, you know, like that album, like, you know, it's pretty much like a one-way ticket until you get hit by that right hook and it changes. And that's a beautiful thing. If I listened to that shuffled, I'd be like, that was why they do that? Without that's weird. You know, I don't and just like a movie can take you out, or a show can take you out, or a game can take you out of the game if you're immersed by doing something just wrong, you know. In a, you know, quote unquote way, art is a beautiful thing. There's really no wrong way to do something, but in a way that is jarring, you know, in a way that gets people to be like, whoa, what the fuck? That's so weird. I'm out of it. I don't want to do it no more. You also need to focus on making your album not but more like something immersive. You know, like you want to be like in that headspace, and that's something I'm very glad people have like told me and April both to our faces and together through the last like few weeks, is that they're like, I feel really like I'm in this fucking zone.
Yeah.
Because you start with the big hitters, right? Like not the big hitter though. People going big on the first song, respect to each and everyone's style. They're very different, and the thing you bring to the table really makes it different. You know, like some rappers just have such a different styles. Like they can do stuff I can't, and I can do stuff they can't. That's just the way it is. I cannot hit as hard as possible in an opening song in the first song. I need like the second song to be that song. That's why the first song, Concord, is like kind of gentle. You're like waking up to start your day, because you know that's part of the album too. And it's kind of like, it's a little mellow. It's a little not brooding, but thoughtful, I guess. I'm really just talking about all of these things on my mind, you know, all these things going on. And then the second one, Nile, is when you're really like, okay, I am here. Welcome. The door is open. I am outside. We are going to get our day started. And that is so important to the album. Likewise, you know, you go into the first few songs, you got a couple of moods kind of get you like ready for the variety we got going on. You know, Angel's song really gets people to be like, okay, well, there is a chance that things can kind of change up, and I'm cool with this because this song is dope and it's very unique sounding, and it's nothing really like it on the album the exact same way. After you get like that Nile, Concord, and Babe I'm Sick, which are both like, okay, which are all three of them like very like, okay, this is our style of hip hop. This is kind of what we're doing. Very like establishing, you know. And then after that, you go into Vipers and Salute. You kind of take that up, that very high up from Special Beam Canada, which is so high energy, and you kind of go down into Salute, where it's more like I'm talking at you now, which is, you know, a style of rap I quite adore. You know, it's a very I feel like it can be alienating if you like do it in a certain way. I really wish I had more to say, but being talked at can be awesome. You know, it can be so cool.
Yeah.
If done in a very conscious way, I guess. But then after that, we go into like more of the hard romantic shit. 'Cause, you know, I can't help it. Right, my full name's Casanova. You know, I gotta. You know, that's kind of who I am.
Oh, it all
You know what I
comes
mean?
together.
But it really, yeah, truly. And then, you know, after that, like kind of sweetness into bittersweetness, we get into something a bit more like saddened, a bit more like thoughtful, a bit more like, you know, kind of emotional, and it gets us to Papi Gordo. Watch how I can't start an album with a big song. I can't end an album with like a big song, like Goodbye Brown.
Clapping,
you know, like
clapping,
a big
clapping.
like, you know.
That's very good.
Thank you. That will be on the next album. But I just can't. I love a big band. I think a big band is very important. I think you can use it. Me personally, my style, it's, you know, I don't want it to be the ending of a movie. Like the very, very last moment is almost never the most craziest moment of the album. You know what I mean? Or the movie, rather. Like it's always like a little bit. It could be a little bit before. It could be ways before, and then that's after. But like it's the climax of a film is like a ways in, but not at the end. I mean, unless that's the kind of film it is, which is cool. Respect. In that case, that's kind of what Papi Gordo is. Like, we're kind of reaching towards the end, but here's my big finisher, which is this incredibly well-produced song, I did the original chopping, and April really stitched it together and made it wearable, which is fantastic, and I couldn't have done it without her. But I wanted that to be the big one, so that we can get into World Not Mine, which is very much like heart to heart, with the listener, and I'm telling them about like all of this important shit, just to be like, this is, at the end of the day, despite all this is a world not made for me, and that's okay, because it never really was made for anything or anybody. So,
well, that's awesome.
Thank
really
you,
feel
thank
that.
you.
Well,
it's all very, very conscious work.
well,
We're
yeah.
stitching it.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like there's a lot of stuff coming out now, like a lot of new artists who, whether it be due to higher ups or other factors, are having to really like either sanitize their work or really like kind of make it more passive, so that's, you can just kind of like put it on and not really think about it, and it just kind of goes in one ear out the other, and that's, sad. But
Yeah.
I like hearing that we have this album that has clearly had so much love and thought and care put into, like, not even just the songs and the beats itself, just the stitching together, as you said, putting it all together in a way where it flows, thinking about what the audience should be thinking or how they're, interacting with the art as it's going on. I think that's something that a lot of people should think about more when they listen to music, in my opinion, because I love music. I love listening to music.
Same.
I love just being able to hear almost the voice of the artist behind it, and
Yes.
think about how
Yes.
it makes me feel and how I can take it into my life forever. And I think I listened to the album a few times already. I loved it. I'm gonna link it to Don later. We're gonna listen to it together.
Yeah. I would like to do that.
But yeah, so
That's
that's
actually part of my question, because I was just like,
Yes.
in this era where everybody's streaming, like Lou said, going in one ear out the other. Like, how do you feel like you're gonna be contending against, like, there's music everywhere now. It's not just through labels anymore. People just posting. But it definitely feels like a lot of music is made specifically for
yeah.
TikTok. So I guess, Mike, like, do you feel any kind of pressure to like keep that going to get your name out there, or would you prefer to just?
The thing. That's a great question. The thing, and I'm gonna, Abe, you can chime in whenever. I'm just gonna start us off here. The thing with that, obviously, social media is important for the sake of the fact that everybody has it and people use it to find new things. So naturally, we have presences. If we could both like go on and continue doing our thing without any sort of social media in the current way, we probably would jump at the leash without a second thought. I like seeing what people are up to. I like the social aspect of it, but I feel like me and Abe are pretty like torn from social media in that way. And I also feel like our art is not really made for TikTok.
Not at all.
Right?
Okay.
Like I think about like things made styles of things today versus as they were, where there was pause, not a very healthy option, but I'm going to talk about it right now. Smoking, the original
Right.
cigarette, you'd have to step outside, smoke, you'd be away from everybody, you'd have to like burden yourself to go do it outside. It was not instant, but you had to work for it. Now you've got like the digital ones where it's like, well, suck, fruit, and then like you're kind of
You on that vape?
right, and then you're just like, fuck this, I don't feel anything anymore.
And let me play
Um,
Pac-Man real quick on the screen on the side.
I got Doom on this fucking thing. No, but like instant gratification is not what we make, flat out. We have songs where if you listen to it, you'll be like, dude, that is fire. But if you really want more, we wanted to make this album first, not only because like we wanted to really show people that like we had it going on, we could just do it off the rip. No need to like kind of test the waters like that, because we knew our shit was hot. But also because I feel like it's just the only way for us, like stylistically speaking, we really want to pitch to people like, this is worth your time and you should listen to it flat out,
Right.
And part of that involves self-respect and being like, okay, I don't want to do this. That's not to say there's no respect in posting on TikTok or anything like that, or being super up there with social media. Again, that is a style of business and operating that I simply don't practice. I respect it, frankly, especially if you can do it without going crazy, because I
Yeah,
feel like I
yeah.
can't. So if you can manage that and like do it in a way that, I don't know, keeps you sane enough, I'm like, dude, and you get paid, bro, congratulations. I'm very happy for you. I think the number me and April tossed each other, we were like, we'd be happy and satisfied with this album if we dropped it, everyone liked it, and we made like $5.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good energy to have.
Right? I think so too. We made much more than that, which is very awesome. We've been making good from this album, which is fantastic and always great because we make it from the heart. You know, it's not really made for anything besides us, but we also know it's hot and everyone needs to hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
um,
Understandable.
anything you want to add, Abe?
Yeah, it kind of ties back into what I was saying earlier about how I value a lot with albums, not only in sequencing, but just as a complete cohesive project from someone. And it's not to say that there aren't tracks on here that can be fully enjoyed as just singles or just thrown on their rotation. Like, I think all the
Mhm.
tracks can serve as that, but like the real way to like experience it is through this holistic lens of start to finish, sunrise to sunset. And that's why kind of like the short film released in tandem with it is supposed to be like a companion piece. Like, it's supposed to be like one cohesive vision. So I feel like it can be a bit of a disservice if you like don't listen to like the full thing like in order, or just like pick out a few songs. And like, if however you want to enjoy music, that's kind of your jam. But
Yes.
that's kind of why earlier, like, I think it wasn't really made for like I guess like TikTok, so to speak, because
Yeah.
like, again, like kind of like what Cass was saying, it's very instant gratification. Just by nature of the medium, you're kind of limited to just a very select amount of time. And if you're kind of conditioned to kind of consume things in smaller chunks, it can be hard to appreciate like a larger vision of something.
Right.
But in the way we kind of like put this together of just like the sequencing, the length, the short film together, I think a way to like describe that is like it's very like uncompromising in how we put out something, because we didn't really have social media or TikTok or that sort of like way of consuming in mind. At least like
Yeah.
I certainly did not. Like, I can spare you with my tangent, but like I'm very on social media. I do not like it. So me especially, I have an aversion to that, and I just wanted to like stay true of kind of what we were doing and have everything be appreciated as just one big project.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, I just have one more thing to ask the both of you. I am a very casual artist. I haven't done any really big projects in my life, but I've always been very inspired by people who have, sought out to make something completely, a web series or like a long form video or something, something that they're very proud of, something they want to share with people. And to me, it's very intimidating also to think about that kind of process of starting something and actually finishing it, and then putting it out there. So definitely props to both of you for that and all your previous and future projects. What would y'all's advice be to people who are struggling to even, just for matter of speaking, put the pencil down and like start something? What is kind of the flow state you got to be in? What is the stuff that has helped y'all in your work and your passion, that you'd like to give to others?
Like
Oh my
me.
god.
like Don over there.
I think it's a Libra thing at this point.
Don't drag me into this.
That's so funny. Honestly, Abe, I'm gonna let you take it away first. I've got stuff to add, but I want you to start that.
Yeah. I wish I had like a very distinct like answer on how to approach something like this, because for me personally, a lot of inspiration and kind of sparking some sort of creative idea is almost feels like impulsive in bursts. But I think something with this project, having another person also working with you, where you have to like directly collaborate. There's a form of deadline. It kind of kept me on the rails.
Mhm.
Because I'm sure y'all can relate as like artists too, of just like I'm sure like there's waxing and waning like bursts of creativity. But if you have
Oh
someone
yeah.
else, it's like I don't want to let them down, and also I want to like bounce ideas off of them too. Not saying you necessarily have to have like a multi-person project to have that, but for me personally, having cast there not only as like a sort of way to kind of keep me accountable and being able to consistently work on stuff, but also being able to bounce ideas off of, find inspiration through them. And
Yeah.
kind of like what we are saying earlier, we have a lot of the shared same inspirations, and we can kind of like look towards that, and our appreciation for like a lot of the same artists can spark inspiration kind of in the same way when we were first in the studio together. I think just kind of bouncing ideas and just fucking yapping about our favorite rappers and producers, like that really
Hmm.
like lit a flame under my ass personally, because I've been sitting on like these beats for years. Like I'm never had done any sort of proper collaboration, let alone a full project. It was just kind of me working by myself. I usually like to keep to myself, and but yeah, that was a sort of way to like channel it into a more cohesive project. And for just working on your own, I would say just listen to stuff that inspires you. Not to sound like a Hallmark card, but it's true. And also be willing to listen to stuff that might be outside of your comfort range, or not necessarily comfort range, but just even something that's completely sonically different from what you're doing. You can find inspiration in the strangest places. Like, I've listened to all sorts of things, but like you can find like a sort of like gentle beauty in something like classical music, like a Ravel piece or something, or like the fucking raw chaos of like a noise rock album, and it can kind of
Oh yeah.
spark something within you. So I guess that would be sort of my spiel on how to find creative inspiration to finish a project.
Okay.
Beautifully spoken. Honestly, very perfect. Um, with with that, I need to add. April was so right about working with someone else. I tried to do this sort of thing by myself, maybe like 7 years prior to like meeting April, but I never really could in a way that satisfied me. So having that second person also just led me to really like my work more. I've always struggled with liking my work personally. It's a very common struggle among artists, but having it with April, I guess the extra person there really makes me go, you know what, my work is good, and I have a friend here whose work is equally as good, and we made this together because we were both great. And that's a beautiful thing, and it really reminds you of the value of your own art when it's difficult to find. And also, like, it really does light a fire under your ass. You're really like, I gotta really want of us, so I have to put in my work. It's just great working on a team. There's lots of projects. I feel like you'll see all these artists who are maybe your age or maybe a bit older who are like doing all this because that's how the news works. Like that's how news goes around. Is they're like, oh yeah, I'm only 14 and I've already developed my own game studio with 14 wonderful entries. It's like that's
Wow.
wonderful, but it never comes from nothing. You never learn what it comes from. It's always like, okay, well, I was raised by two of the greatest game developers in the world, or oh, I just have a really great handle on numbers, and so this was kind of like the fastest thing I could do. Um, Talent, the word talent is always a very interesting one because people often use it in ways where I feel like skill is, a bit more apt. Although both are great. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, George, don't you mean the other word? But it is important to recognize that a lot of effort goes into this stuff, and that effort can be shared and levied and balanced, around you and around others if you decide to work with people who you can really trust, or hire a bunch of people too. That works fantastically. I'm very like brain overlord about these projects, so having someone else who's like also in that same vein wants to make sure that every detail is like spiffy and clean is wonderful. And that's just one of the many ways people can work with each other, that you both just have work styles that complement each other. So I really do think if you're a young artist and you want to make a big project, or an artist of any sort, regardless of age, and you want to make a project, relying on people who you can trust, or at least work with, really does make a difference, and it really does help you out. I mean, a lot of our, you look at Deltarune's a very popular game going on around us, and that's like a lot of those people working on that game with Toby are like his friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is a very good and loving and caring practice if done right and done in a way that doesn't hurt nobody. Fair play is very important after all. In terms of like anything else, I have to say that like, you know, with a project, everyone wants to make a project. There's not a single artist I know who does not want to make a project of some sort. Everyone wants to make a project, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and you should. Um, just don't forget, you know, I like the way I see art is very pivotal to this. Art is like movement. You know, a movement makes motion. Now, you can make very precise motions. You can be athletic with art. You know how competitive this scene can be. You know, you can be that Olympian if you want. You know, and you can make it as precise as humanly possible. And you can do this, and this. Or motion can be loose. It can be fun. Dancing. You know, I don't think any of us are like the most perfect dancers in the world, unless that's your athletic sport of choice, which is fantastic. But for this analogy, pretend with me here that, you know, well, not even pretend. Everybody can dance. Maybe they don't like dance with the most agile feet in the world, but everybody can dance.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
art is the movement that turns into the motion you want it to be. You know, so if you want to make something precise, it's good to keep yourself trained and practice. You know, you don't want to wane that. Even if it's been a while, it's like working out. You know, even if it's been a while, it's good to like go to it and be like, okay, I want to remember if I can do this, just for the sake of doing it, for your safe, for your, you know, for yourself and for your, you know, hand, your pen, your mind. You know, it's good to go back to it and be like, well, I want to practice these motions. You know, make sure I got them down. So, with all that in mind, making a project is really about what kind of movement you want to make. You know, what kind of motion you want to produce, and keeping that in mind, because, you know, when you talk about art, it's always like a feeling or a stagnant thing, and that's it too. You know, it's multiple things. People talk about art like they talk about love, or, you know, like the weather or something like that, like big overboating things. But it really is movement. You know, even for the most docile of creatures, it is movement. You know, so starting somewhere, that fire is really the most important part, and then how you want that motion to go is your choice, and the freedom of it is also so crucial. So don't ever forget that. That's my big spiel.
Thank you for
I-
the
I really-
spiel.
Ooh,
Of course,
I love
a
that.
good spiel.
I also
love-
have
I
like
like
two
to
little
report.
like things to add to that, just
Yes.
to like wrap up that thought too. That
Mhm.
I don't know, I forgot to think about when I was on my first little diatribe about this.
Go for it, brah.
Something I think is important as well is, and Cassie kind of hinted at this, is just always be doing like something with some level of frequency, because if you kind of let your creative muscles atrophy, it gets way harder to actually pick something
Oh,
back
yeah.
up again.
Yeah.
And I'm sure y'all can relate to that, because I think that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
everyone who has creative output will go through. And it's hard to like put those reps in, but I think it just can't be stressed enough to, you know, consistently do something. And also too, this is something that I've internalized recently, just not outside of creative endeavors, but also just my life in general. Um, like actually doing something concrete, working towards your goal, rather than just having the idea of something, then telling someone something, because that kind of like satisfies that part of the brain of like getting that done. Like something
Yep,
that
I
I've
hear
been
about
doing
this.
for, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it extends to everything. Like I've been saying, like, oh man, like it always says, I think I'm going to do this, or I'm planning to do this. Like, oh, I want to read more, or I want to stop eating so much fast food. And, you know, like that one I'm still kind of struggling with. But, you know, it's,
We've all been there.
we all, we all have our vices. What can I say? Yeah, but just putting in some sort of work, or having like at least like somewhat of a foundation of a project before just even like telling anyone, I think can also be conducive to not stagnating or abandoning a project and staying
Yeah.
motivated to finish something.
That's very beautiful. Thank you too so much for talking with us
Yeah,
today.
thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I hope that you had a fun time talking about the project and your inspirations and such like that. And I hope to the people listening that you're also having a great time. I hope y'all are like having like a hot chocolate, or like, I don't know, a sandwich while you listen to this.
But before we
Good.
log off, go ahead and tell the people what the album name is.
One more
Where
time.
to find it.
One more
All
time.
that jazz. One more time.
Absolutely. You can find us. We are Casual Red and Lobotomy Wife of the joint label Ape Dog Records. You can find us You can find us both on Instagram, albeit again we don't really use it much, but when something is happening, we'll keep you posted with that. Honestly, if you put a bell on that shit, that'd probably be good for you. But we're not that kind of. I'm just saying,
Hit the
it
bell?
might be good for you, but don't forget to hit that bell and hit subscribe. Yes, indeed.
I'm pointing at it right now, the subscribe button that you can't see.
I feel it though. I feel it. But no, I am also on Blue Sky. Abe is on SoundCloud. I am on everything. We are on everything. If you want to listen to the album, it's The Soul Turnaround. That's TheSoleTurnaround. You can find that again on Lobotomy Wife on SoundCloud, Kesra Red on Bandcamp and YouTube, and also Lobotomy Wife on YouTube. And both of us on anything. If you just type the album, type The Soul Turnaround, you'll find it. Cool art. Cover art made by yours truly, with help from my dear friends at Ghost Fruits. You can't miss it, really.
Awesome.
And yeah, thank you so effing much. This was fantastic.
All right, next week
coming.
we'll be interviewing. I don't know, Goku.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, sure.
Oh!
Finally,
So-
Goku and Kendrick.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be
they're
crazy.
both
It's gonna
Please
be.
let
Well,
me
you see,
sit on
Goku had
this.
to fight the strongest guy ever, and that would be Kendrick.
Oh,
Think about that.
Well,
I just
thank
got chills thinking about it.
yeah.
yeah.
See y'all next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Everything I should have said, I wrote instead. Living with a halo, trying to find my head. Everything I should have said, I wrote instead. Sleeping with the devil, breathing down my neck. Everything I should have said, I wrote instead. Preaching to the money, trying to break some bread. Everything I should have said, I wrote instead.